and so I don't have to pay the fee in advance. Oh my god, I've been talking for so long. Oh my god. So welcome back to my channel. It's Sibo, and you asked and I'm here answering. We're doing another Q&A video today because there's been a bunch of questions that have come up in the comment section and in my DMs on the gram, and I just thought it would be like great to bring all those questions I've been asked, all the ones that I've also answered, onto a video, so that in case you haven't seen the comments or you're shy to ask, I guess. And these are also questions that I got from like my manager and like the recruiters as to like what people often ask. So if these are FAQs, you're probably wanting to ask them. So anyway, before we jump into this video, guys, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone for the subscriptions that you've had. Thank you to everyone that's been watching the videos, and if you're new to watching a video, I hope you do stay. Hope you enjoy this one and carry on watching all the others. Okay guys, let's get started. So question number one, hold on, I wrote them on a book because I'm not a bougie girl that has a camera and can scroll through my phone, so I wrote them in a book. Okay, so first question, where did I study? And this question often goes hand in hand with what subjects do you need to study? Subjects do you need to have to study what I did. So I studied at the University of Stellenbosch from 2015 through and graduated in 2018. I studied occupational therapy and I'm now practicing as an occupational therapist. The subjects that you need to have, I remember I applied to 4 universities: Stellenbosch, Tuks, Wits and UCT, and at all those universities you needed to have bio, like life sciences, or physical sciences. You didn't need to have both. A home language, English home language, or like a home language, as well as like pure maths, like mathematics. Anyway, those are the ones that you had to have. So what I did, my subjects that I did in school were, I did maths, life sciences, physical sciences, and dramatic arts, because we know I'm a dramatic gal, so I had to have it in my blood. Anyway, yeah, that's what I studied. So the second question I get asked a lot is, how many years of experience did I have before moving over to the UK? So I graduated in 2018. I did my ComServe in 2019. So from 2019, 2021, 22. So I had about 4 years of experience before moving over. But the way that they do it this side is that if you have a qualification, like a degree, and you have your HCPC like registration number, then you automatically get a band 5, or like that's your starting role, and then you move over onto like band 6, 7 and 8. So like that's how they like give you the position and stuff like that, right? And then another big question that I get asked a lot is, how much did it cost? Okay guys, it cost a lot. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm going to go through how much everything cost, and at the end of it all, I just want to say, be realistic with how much you can afford to save, and like when you can move by, because it is a lot of money, and be sure that you do want to move. So the reason I was able to do it is because I knew I was leaving the country, whether Australia, whether the UK, whether Canada, whether South Korea, I knew I was leaving, and I decided to do this like mid 2020 when I wasn't liking the job that I had, and it was also COVID. So I made the decision that I'm going to leave the country that in 2020, right? So from then I started saving. So I've been saving, right? So the first thing is to post your, so I'm going to talk specifically about the UK, right? So you posting your application, your HCPC application, as well as your course information, right? That cost me 1,000 Rand to post from Postnet via DHL was 1,000 rand, and in this application was the application form that was filled out from the HCPC, as well as the course information from Stellenbosch University. So why you need the course information is that they can validate that the course or like the modules and the outcome measures that you did in university match the outcome measures of their professional standards. So then if somehow they don't meet up, you need to do like a board. But the universities in South Africa the best, clearly, because we have the best practitioners. I'm not saying this, it's a study that's done, it's fact. So like our outcome measures and our standards of study are like equal to like theirs. So you oftentimes will need to do like a board exam, right? So getting this course information, when I got it, I didn't have to pay. But my one friend who graduated same year as me said that when she asked for it, she had to pay like a fee. I think it was 700 rand, if I'm not mistaken. I'll like check. And then got that sent through, right? I sent my application in August. I don't know what day I sent it in August. I received an email from the HCPC to pay my scrutiny fee in December, right? So I'm giving timelines as well as prices. So from August to December, I knew that my post had arrived because DHL like does have a tracking thing. So I was sitting waiting for that email. So HCPC sent me an email to pay my scrutiny fee in December, and my scrutiny fee was about 11,000 rand. I know. So that 11,000 rand is like about £500 or £490, depending on what the exchange rate looks like at the time, right? And this scrutiny fee, if I understand it correctly, is for them to, like it says, scrutinize your application to make sure that your course information meets their outcome measures and standards. You like say that you studied what you studied. your references are like what your references are. So at this point in time, they contact all your references. So like just make sure that the references you put on, you let them know like, hey, I'm doing this, please be prepared, have a look at your emails and stuff like that. So because then they send them links and everything. So I spoke to all my referees, yeah, those people, to like, please have a look at your email, this is what I'm anticipating. They're like, bet money, right? Great. Now, this is another fee that I've recently been made aware of, that in the scrutinization, yeah, they contact the HPCSA, which is the Healthcare Professions Council of South Africa, and HPCSA asks you to pay a fee for them to do that. I didn't have to do that, but my friends have recently told me like, yeah, no. They asked me, did you have to do that? I'm like, no. They're like, yeah, no, we're doing it. So I don't know how much it is, but it's a fee that you have to be aware of, right? Right. And then, so from when I paid my scrutiny fee to having to pay my registration fee, I paid my registration fee in March. So after you pay your scrutiny fee, they scrutinize your application, and then after that, they send you an email that you have to pay for registration. So I think it's annual or like every second year, your registration fee, and that was done in March, right? But this was done in March for me because one of my references hadn't like responded to them. So I'd call airtime, include that in the cost. I'd call and be like, yo, this is my name, my application, and they're like, no, we have an outstanding reference, please alert them and everything. So I did that, and once that everything was done, I called and they were like, okay, your application is like in the process, it's like being looked over and everything. And then I got the email for registration fee in March, and the registration fee was about 4,000 rand. Exchange rate dependent. Because then they charge in pounds, and their pounds, I assume, remain stable. The exchange rate is what like fluctuates you, right? So this was then in March, and then this was everything with relation to the HCPC. Now, Now we're looking outside of HCPC, things that I had to do to just get into the country, to just work in the country, right? The first thing that I needed to have is a TB test, right? Because I'm from South Africa, and South Africa has like prominent numbers of TB. Like they say it in a way that like is English. You have to get a TB test, and that costs 2,500 rand. And this can only be done in 3 sites in South Africa. That would be the one in Pretoria, there's one in Durban, and there's one in Cape Town, right? And those are the only 3 that they have. So if you're in any of the other provinces, you have to travel to that province and you have to book. So you book, you send an email to this email address, and then you ask for like, you want to book, they give you available dates, and then after they give you the date, you reply, and then they give you like the account number, what reference you need to use, and you have to print your proof of reference when you go, right? That's the TB test, right? And now, I've been talking, and then now, like I said in like my first video that I uploaded about the moving to the UK, because I'm from South Africa, and because I'm coming into this country as a healthcare professional, I have to prove that I have an academic understanding of English. So I had to do a language test, right? This language test cost 3,200 rand, right? And this was done with Pearson PTE, and I did the UKVI academic test. I think that's what it was called. Links, all these links, description. And for that, I don't, like, you can choose for extra course information for like to prepare for this test, but I'm pretty confident in my understanding of English and like the grasp of the language, so I didn't need that. So I took the test, and the test results are available within 48 hours. You have to get above like 90 or something so that you are cleared, and that's 3,200 rand, right? And then another document that you need to have, so the TB test, the language test are all the documents that you need to have for your visa application, to support your visa application, right? Then you also need to have your police clearance, right? So your police clearance, I believe, has to be one that's done by South African Police Services, by SAPS, because apparently the ones that are done by private companies are not suitable for visa applications. You can fact check this, I'm not sure. I just remember when I went to do it at a private company, they said that this is suitable for SACE, which is the education one, and I needed it for my SACE because I was working at a school at the time. But it's not suitable for visa application, right? So then I did it anyway because I needed to do my SACE, but then I also had to do my police clearance. So my police clearance with SAPS, I think it was 160 rand, if I'm not mistaken. It's like 160 or something like that, right? And then, hold on, another thing that you need to have is to prove that you've had about 20 to 24,000 rand in your account for 3 consecutive, no, I'm lying. You need to prove that you had 24,000 rand for 28 consecutive days in your account. This is to prove that when you get to the country, you're going to be able to support yourself, right? So what a lot of people do is to get a letter from their sponsor, so whichever person you're going to be working for, to say, I got this, you know, like I can cover that amount, I got it, I can cover it, right? So that can happen. But I had that 24k because I was very, very paranoid. I needed everything to go right. When I tell you that I was literally I was hanging by a thread vis-a-vis mental health when I was in South Africa. So I just had it in here because I didn't want anything to go wrong, right? So now you have these documents, right? You have your TB certificates, which you also get on the same day. You have your language test, you have your police clearance, you need to have your passport because you're applying, you need to get your certificate of sponsorship from your sponsor, and there's a sixth one that I always forget. Your bank statement to show that you've had the 24K in your account for 28 consecutive days, right? Sharp. And then you go to the visa application center. I'm lying, you apply online. You apply online and then you book your slot and then you upload these documents as part of your slot. The reason you go to the visa application center is to drop off your passport, right? Chap. And then your visa application fee you have to like pay. So you go through, it's a questionnaire. It's a long questionnaire that you like answer. Have you been part of war crimes? Stuff like that. And then at the end of that, you pay your visa fee. My visa fee was approximately 5,000 rand. I haven't, like, it's just thousands. It's 5,000 rand. And this is because I was applying for a health and care worker visa. So if you're applying for a tier 2 skilled visa, your visa fee will be different because you then have to pay for the NHS healthcare surcharge, which means you're paying for your for the NHS in advance for the number of years that your visa is allowing for. So if you are doing if your visa is for 3 years, if you're applying for a 3-year visa, then you have to pay, I think, I don't know because I didn't do this. Like, just I'll put the link in the description. I think like 18,000 rand for your visa application fee, but some people say it's 60,000 rand because it's 20,000 rand a year, or however long they want their visa to be. I'm not too sure on this because this is not the route that I took. So because I am an NHS worker, my NHS surcharge is and so I don't have to pay the fee in advance. Oh my god, I've been talking for so long. Oh my god. Anyway, we're almost done. That visa application fee is 5,000 rand, right? Great. And then you wait 3 weeks and then your visa arrives. They're like, yeah, everything's good to go. You can leave on this day. Your visa is valid from this month to this month. You have to get into the country. And when you get into the country, you have to get your biometric residence pass, which is the one that makes you leave willy-nilly for the 3 years, right? Anyway, and then you book your flights. So I booked a one-way because I'm like, I'm not coming back. I booked a one-way ticket to here, and that cost me 6,700 rand, and that was with Qatar Airlines, and the flight was about 22 with a layover of 8 hours, and that was the cheapest. And I left in the morning. I left like 7:10, and I landed here in the morning as well because I didn't want to inconvenience the person that was picking me up at the airport to being like a late or afternoon or something. So like first thing in the morning, get me out the way, and I landed at Gatwick Airport. Yeah. So total that I paid was 33,560 rand. That's how much I paid to get here. But and then you're not including the 24K that you needed to have in your account. So if I include that 24K, it comes up to about 57. So just prepare 60K. Just prepare 60,000 rand to come here, and that's me being realistic, and that's me just like with what I paid. There may be new charges, like exchange rate may be different. Yeah, so be realistic. You must be sure. You can't just say, yeah, I'm going. You must be proper sure. Okay. that is how much it cost, right? Another question that I get asked a lot is, how did I get the job? So I got recruited for the job because when I was actively looking. So I updated my LinkedIn like nothing mattered. I updated my LinkedIn. I was on LinkedIn all the time, approaching people and stuff like that. So your LinkedIn, if you searching via LinkedIn, your LinkedIn profile has to be like up to date. So mine was up to date, and then I got approached by a recruiter, and then I started being serious. But before I'd gotten approached by a UK recruiter, I'd already been speaking to an Australian recruiter, and for some time I was debating UK, Australia, UK, Australia, UK, Australia, and then I'd asked like a bunch of people, and a bunch of people, like the majority was the UK, because of reasons that they gave me, and I ended up coming here. I think, but a big reason that I chose was because of the time difference. If I'm going to be moving away from home, I want to be the closest time difference imaginable, because Australia is like 9 hours ahead of South Africa. So I was like, oh, now I must do that maths, time. I just didn't feel like, do you know what I mean? So I chose the closest one. And then, yeah, so if you are, now that you know how much it costs and are serious and have been realistic with yourself about whether this is something that you want to pursue, if you would like the contact information for the recruiters, head over to my Instagram, DM me there, and I'll share it with you. But please be serious. Like, they won't entertain you. Not like they won't entertain you. They're also working people. Do you know what I mean? Like, but you can't go there as a haha or a joke skink. You have to be serious about wanting to come. And then they put everyone that I've recommended to them they've gotten an interview. Like, if the first interview wasn't successful, they then come up with the second and then the third interview, and then they get feedback, and then, do you know what I mean? Like, they want to get you this job, right? So only contact them if you're serious. So if you're serious, send me a DM on Instagram and I'll share their contact details with you. Yeah. So if you're not wanting to go through a recruiter, you can go on the internet. I think you go www.nhsjobs.co.uk. Yeah, I'll look, and then I'll link it down in the description below. Just like apply like through there. They have like the links and everything and stuff like that, right? So another question that I get asked a lot is about being a healthcare assistant. So I asked my line manager, the one that interviewed me, and she said that the chances of you getting sponsored as a healthcare assistant are slim to none, because as a healthcare assistant, there's no, what did she say? There's no competition. I think that, I don't know, that's not the word she used, but that's how I understood it. So she said that when they advertise for a post, they have to prove the market something, which means that they have to advertise it at least twice for 2 weeks at a time, and at those 2 weeks there has to be no response or unsuccessful like interviews and stuff like that. So before they go outside the borders of the country, they have to prove that there's no one in the country that can fill this post, right? That's the only way that they're going to be able to like fight or even consider a sponsor for you, right? So you have to meet the marketplace something. She used the word for it. I'll remember. And so a lot of times HCAs don't have that. So they get responses. There's people that want to. There's people that are willing in the country to do that. So unless you are already in the country and can do that job, fine. But they're not going to sponsor you to be here. And by sponsor, it means that they're not going to be responsible for your visa. That's basically, I think I'm explaining this right, yeah? Making sense. Okay, let's see how many questions we have left. much time. Yeah. One of the other questions that I get asked a lot is, how's my work environment? I really desperately enjoy the team that I'm working in. I cannot stress that enough. This team that I work with at the hospital, they are top tier. We share jokes, it's all like giggles. We have like so many Christmas parties we're going to, we have extended lunches together and everything. So the work environment, I think the work environment is solely pushed by the people that you work with, but also on top of that, the support that you give. So I cannot fault the support that I have. I have my meeting in support. I have support. My supervisor, we have like a supervision like meeting once every 2 weeks, and in those like I get to like share how I'm adjusting. I get to share what's bothering me and everything. And if there's something that's bothering me, best believe she gets it fixed. And I have like my supervisor is band 7, and the other supervisor of mine is a band 8, and he's also great. He's so funny. Not to say that my band 7 is not funny. They like it's a great team. Like you guys, and like like it's honest and like tangible feedback, like feedback that you can work on. And if you're struggling, you have to speak out, you have to say it, because then they'll help you. They will be like, okay, this is how we can fix this, how we can fix this. So there's no point in you being quiet if you like, you know, there is something that is bothering you. Yeah. All right, another question. Let's see, can I make child how am I adjusting to working? I think I'm adjusting fairly well. So last month, October, I had my 3-month probation meeting, and my supervisor said I'm doing great. I'm meeting probation requirements at the 3-month level. So we have like objectives that we've set for me that I need to meet at the end of 6 months, and like I'm working towards that. I have had several like complex cases. If you want a complex case like video, let me know, and I'll like discuss like what the role of the OT in that was, because I think my week in the life of an NHS like OT wasn't like as intricate about like OT as it should have been, and I'm sorry about that, but that's just what I could get in the week, because everything is like high pressure confidentiality. So if you want a complex case discussion and like how I've done it and how I've gotten patients to be discharged home, let me know, and then we can definitely like arrange for that. So yeah, I'm adjusting well. I can handle like my caseload very well. I am able to delegate to like the assistants and like the other people that I'm working with on the ward. I'm able to prioritize, which is something that I was struggling with at the beginning, because I thought like I had to see everyone, but then it's like you don't have to see everyone. You just have to make sure that your medically fit people are seen, and then once they're seen and your OT jobs with them are done, then you can move on to the A stars, right? Yeah. So I'm adjusting well. I've gotten into my groove. I've settled into a routine. Yeah. This is a little bit more positive response than what I had at the last Q&A when someone said, do you regret moving? I don't anymore, but I still wish I had family or like my partner here with me. But I'm making friends. I'm hosting a Christmas lunch that I'm so overwhelmed because I over-invited, like, yeah, you wanna come? You wanna come? Yeah, you come. So currently the guest list that's 18 people. You know how small my flat is. I don't think we can fit 18 people. But we're gonna make it because the show must go on. Anyway, guys, this has been an extremely long video. If you have any other questions based on like all that I've said, please comment them down below, and then we'll have another Q&A in 3 months time. If you have any other pressing questions that I didn't answer in this video, please do pop me a DM on Instagram. I do answer my DMs. Ask people that have been in my DMs. I answer my DMs. And yeah. Okay, guys, if you did like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below any other questions that you have for me. Please pop on over to watch my Vlogmas. 1st of December is coming. Please stay tuned for the Vlogmas series and subscribe to the channel. Okay, thanks. Bye.